On today's episode, we're going to talk about German Christmas markets, or reason number 47,589 why I love living in Germany. They were canceled this year, obviously, because of the Rona, so we're kind of all sad about it, but I wanted to take today to talk about my favorite ones in order to reminisce and to send some Christmas feelings out into the YouTubes. Hello, you Lieblings! I'm Mari, a science fiction and fantasy author who's been living in southern Germany since 2014. Today, we're going to talk about Christmas markets. If you have not experienced a Christmas market, you have not lived. That is a fact. I want to list my favorite markets because I couldn't go any to this year, and man, Christmas is really not the same without it. But before we get started, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell if you haven't already. Here on Adventures of Lamati, we talk about writing, living abroad, and everything in between. So in case you're wondering what I'm drinking, you're going to want to tune into next week's episode because I film stuff out of order, but it will make sense. So make sure to check in next week. So we're going to do this list countdown style with... Okay, so I'm totally cheating when I mention a Christmas market that's not in Germany. For those of you who can't make it to Germany before Christmas, at least try to go to Chicago. Almost all of the stores are actually brought over from Nuremberg, Germany. And until a few years ago, the Christkindl from Nuremberg would also come to kick off the season. But Chicago actually now has their own Christkind, so they don't really need that anymore. But the tradition was started by Nuremberg, bringing it over to the States. It is a good introduction to the magical world that is German Christmas markets. But of course, there are aspects that aren't the same, like the roasted almonds aren't warm enough. I'm just saying. But what I like about it is the aesthetic, the very interesting contrast between, when you're being at the Chicago Christmas market, seeing the old world shops. They also have a KT Wohlfahrt shop, if you're familiar with them, along the backdrop, the metropolitan backdrop of the Windy City. I first went to Stuttgart last year. It reminded me of Chicago's Christmas market, like that old timey-wimey market in the middle of a metropolitan city. It was super cool, but it was super crowded. It made it really hard to enjoy when you had to fight every step of the way. But it is one to experience. Of course, I have to talk about the city where I used to work. My coworkers and I went on the regular during this time, and I actually had plans to go this year to meet up with my old microbiology coworkers, but I guess we'll just have to do that next year. What I like was the majority of the market lies in Ravensburg's main plaza known as the Marienplatz. And I find it very enchanting to see Ravensburg changing and this little old market and these abundance of stringed lights and the aroma of waffles and almonds and wine wafting through the little passageways is lovely. I think it's absolutely lovely. I will admit that I think Lindau is one of the most beautiful. I wish I had a chance to see it during the day, since you also can have an absolutely gorgeous view of the Alps from the harbor. But during the evening, it is a little piece of heaven. Unfortunately, every time I went, it's at night, it's also hella crowded. Pretty much everyone and their mother and their dog likes to go to Lindau, so it's also very crowded. The last time we went, actually, we had Abner with us, and suffice it to say, he was not a fan. All year round, Rotenburg is a gorgeous city. I've already done at least 2 videos already about it, which you could check out. In fact, go check it out right now. It literally looks like what an American would think a German city should look like. I mean, obviously not all cities do, of course, but this one just beautiful. So you can imagine as a Christmas market, it's just adds like that extra layer of magic. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to cheat further because I lived in Überlingen for the first 4 years that I lived in Germany. There's also a vlog on that. And I can't help be biased and say that it's like the prettiest and one of the bestest. It's very, very small compared to the others. But it does have the best aspect of a German Christmas market, and that is Feuerzangenbowle. If you don't know what Feuerzangenbowle is, it is a traditional alcoholic drink for which a rum-soaked sugar loaf is set on fire and it drips into mulled wine. It is also known as heaven in a cup. Oh, I miss that. Oh, so good. So good. So Nuremberg is considered the traditional Christmas market, though I have also heard that Dresden holds that title. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, like, you know, which stan are you, Nuremberg or Dresden? Anyway, we went there with some friends who were visiting from Switzerland, and I suggested if you do plan on going during the weekend, go in the morning. Go before the crowds get there, because the whole old city gets so full. Like, oh, it's terrible. It's not fun. It's not fun how full that can get. I mean, it's frustrating because like the Christmas market is in in the one plaza, and the old city of Nuremberg is huge, and the whole place is full. Like you don't even have to be close to the market and you're overrun with people. And if you're claustrophobic, it is absolutely not fun. So, I mean, it is absolutely worth visiting. Please go do it. Go do it. I promise you, like it is beautiful, but you want to go early in the morning before the crowds really arrive. And also make sure to grab a bite of a traditional Nuremberger gingerbread because it's so good. Okay, so Kirchberg is my all-time favorite. And I don't know why. I will admit, I love the super, super tiny Christmas markets in these smaller villages. Kirchberg's Christmas market only lasts a weekend. And it's usually the weekend where we celebrate the birthdays of 3, count them 3, nephews. So it's not always a guarantee that I can go every year, but I love going. I think it's a combination of being like a medieval Christmas market like Nuremberg or Rotenburg, but it's also so small that no one knows about it, so it's nowhere near as crowded. It's just, oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Schwarzberg, I know this is also like another small one like Kirchberg. Actually, my sister-in-law lives close to Schwarzberg, which is why I know about it. But it's the same thing. Their Christmas market takes place in the castle in Schwarzberg. And so that's also like its own little magical thing. And oh, that was really lovely. And even when the weather is bad, you can still enjoy it because, you know, it's not very big. But it's also, like I said, nowhere near as crowded as the big ones. And it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference to go like to the smaller ones. And I think I'm very spoiled living out in the country because you can find these like small little gems. And you can, you know, we don't have to worry about like the touristy ones. We can go, you know, for like the jewels. So I'm sure you've gotten to this part of the video and you've heard my list and you thought, oh, silly American only talks about how beautiful each Christmas market was. I know. I mean, here's a question for you. Have you ever seen an ugly Christmas market? I definitely haven't. I love them so much. So much. I wish I could experience them all day, every day. But I think part of the reason why they are just so lovely and wonderful and special is because we only have them for such a short amount of time. So which is your favorite Christmas market? Is there one that I should go to and visit when things open back up again? Please let me know in the comments below. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up. It lets me and YouTube know you like content like this and you want to see more. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or if there's a certain topic you would like to see on this channel. My Space Fantasy The God Queen is available in ebook, paperback, and hardback and would make a great Christmas present. I have all the links in the description below, as well as the first 6 chapters if you sign up for my newsletter. Also, don't forget to connect with me on social media, whether it is through Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And that's it for today. Until next time, Merry Christmas, Frohe Weihnachten, and Feliz Navidad.